Okay. In previous lecture, we discussed on joints, type of joints which are provided for CC payments, like uh, longitudinal joints, transverse joints. Okay. Uh, Again, in longitudinal joints, we go for reinforcement in the form of tie bars. In transverse joints, we also go for reinforcement in the form of dual bars. Okay. So longitudinal joint, if you are going for lane width of more than say 4.5 meters, usually thumb rule says that if you are going for more than one lane, if width is exceeding say 3 or 4.5, then we provide a longitudinal joint. Okay. So transverse joint, we have different categories. Okay, based on the condition, situation, and based on number of factors, there are types of joints which are provided for transverse. Okay, so to name, we have expansion joints which are given. Then we have contraction joints. Then we have uh, wrapping joints. Then we have construction joints. Okay, so at the end of day's work, and then you want to start the new work the next day, then we provide this construction joint. So there is a day's gap, and then we want to continue the work, then we have the construction joint. So out of these four joints, most oftenly asked in examination is the expansion joint and the contraction joint with specification. Okay. Now, design of joints, they have mentioned in the syllabus. We have problems, very simple problems are there. So this content, I have taken it from Kanna and Justo. So Kanna and Justo, if you see page number 386, you have provided with the design of joints in cement concrete pavements. So it is, I have scanned the same thing, and I'm explaining you the design of joints. Okay. So as I told you, the important aspect of joint is with respect to the transverse joint, that too with respect to the expansion joint and contraction joint. So problems or design on these two aspects will be asked, and they are important for exam point of view. Okay. So spacing of these joints mainly depends on the temperature variation, and it depends on the length of the slab. Okay. Now you can see the spacing of expansion joints depends on the length of the slab. Now, as and how you increase the length of the slab, okay, that means interval of one joint to another joint, then your gap of the joint will also increase. That doesn't mean that you go on the increase of the length of the slab, you can't provide the greater gap. Okay. As you know that the joints are the weakest part of the CC payments. Okay, these acts as the weakest part. Through these joints, if not maintained, the ingress of grit material or ingress of water will takes place, then it leads to various failures in CC payments. Okay, so maintaining these joints and designing appropriate specification with accurate, uh, what you say, the gap is very important. Okay, so Indian Roads Congress, it has specified certain standard values to be maintained for designing the these particular joints. Okay, so apart from those standard values, there is certain procedure which we'll be discussing now. Okay, so let us take up the first one, that is spacing of a joint. So width of the gap of expansion joint depends on the length of the slab. Okay, so it depends mainly on the length of the slab. Now, why expansion joints are given? It is to cater for variation in the temperature. So when there is a variation in the temperature, particularly seasonal variation in the temperature. In previous lecture, I was discussing on this. So seasonal variation in the temperature, when there is increase or decrease in overall temperature of the slab, CC slab, then it leads to expansion or contraction of CC slabs. Okay. So to cater this expansion and contraction, we provide certain gaps in case of the CC or rigid payments. Okay. So these gaps, as per IRC, they should not exceed 2.5 centimeters in any case. Okay. IRC recommends that the gap between one slab to another slab should be 2.5 centimeters only. Okay. Please, you need to understand the gap between the slabs and interval of one joint to another joint. Okay. So you can see here 2.5 centimeter is the gap between one slab to another slab, and 140 meters, what you see here, is the number, that is the interval of one expansion joint to another expansion joint. Okay. So this is the recommended value from IRC. Okay. So uh, they have derived this expression of designing of the length of one expansion joint with the another expansion joint. Okay. So if delta is the maximum expansion in the slab for length LE, okay, with temperature rise from T1 to T2. So considering the temperature from rise from T1 to T2, so L dash is given by LE into C into T2 minus T1. Okay, C is the thermal expansion. Fine. So joint filler also plays an important role here. So joint filler may be assumed to be compressed up to 50% of its thickness, and therefore expansion joint should be taken twice the allowable expansion in cement concrete. Okay. So considering these cases, uh, delta dash is half the joint width, and the spacing of expansion joint LE is given by this expression. Okay. So this delta dash is half the expansion joint or gap. Okay. So LE is given by delta dash divided by 100 into C into T2 minus T1. C is the thermal expansion which will be mentioned, okay, in your problem. Fine. So taking this as the expression, very simple problem is there on expansion, right? So the width of the, we'll just go to the numerical. The width of the expansion joint gap is 2.5 centimeter in CC payment. If the laying temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and maximum slab temperature in summer is 54 degrees Celsius, calculate the spacing between expansion joints. Assume coefficient of thermal expansion of concrete as 10 into 10 raised to minus 6 per degree Celsius. Okay. So what is been given in this problem is they have given the expansion joint gap, that is 2.5 centimeters. Okay. And they have given the value of T2 and T1. Okay. So initial laying, during laying this CC slab, it was 10 degrees Celsius, and maximum variation that can happen to this slab during summer is 54 degrees Celsius. Okay. So there is a lot of variation in the temperature during laying and during summer. At peak summer, there is a high temperature of 54 degrees Celsius. Okay. So for this condition, we need to calculate the expansion joint. Okay. So thermal coefficient, that is the value of C, is been given. So delta dash, as taking this consideration, delta dash is nothing but half of the gap. So 2.5 divided by 2, we take delta dash as 1.2. Okay. And then we calculate T2 minus T1. So T2 is the maximum temperature during summer, and this is the laying temperature. So we get a differential temperature of 44 degrees Celsius. Okay. Applying this expression to find out the interval from one expansion joint to another expansion gap. Okay. So taking this, so delta dash is given by 1.25, then divided by 100 into C coefficient we have taken into consideration, and then this is the difference. So we get the length or interval from one expansion joint to another expansion joint will be given as 28.5 centimeter. Just we have just taken these values and we have substituted correspondingly, and we have found out the length of expansion joint given for this condition. I hope this is clear. So it is very simple. Okay. So delta dash divided by 100 into C into variation or variation in the temperature. I hope this is clear. So this is how we design the length or interval from one expansion joint to the another expansion joint. Okay. So let us consider this case of spacing of contraction joint. Is it clear to you? The screen what I have shared for spacing, shall I zoom it or is it fine?
So zoom it a little bit.
Yeah, if you are going through mobile, it will be a bit difficult, I guess. Is it fine or shall I zoom it again?
Fine, sir.
Okay. Yeah, this should be. Spacing of contraction joint. Now, there is a lot of difference between contraction joint and expansion joint. So, expansion joint, we are compulsory providing reinforcement. Okay. So, reinforcement in the form of dual bars. Okay. So, if you have the slab and if you have the connectivity between another slab is there, then there is a gap. Then this slab and that slab will be connected by dual bars. Okay. So the design of dual bars is also there in the syllabus. We will be looking into that in module 4. Okay. So design of dual bars, design of tie bars is there as per IRC codal provision. So we'll be discussing that in module 4. Okay. So we'll be just thinking of the how these joint intervals are provided. Okay. So as you can see, the contraction joints are provided because of fall in the slab temperature. Okay. So if you have the temperature which is dropping in winter season, okay, that time the slab contracts. So in order to cater this, we provide this contraction joints. Fine. So you can see here the slab contraction, and there is frictional resistance which come into picture while designing this contraction joint. Okay. So LC of a slab, LC is nothing but the length of the slab in meters. Okay. And they have just derived the expression for calculating the length of contraction joint. Okay. So considering the of half portion of slab panel LC by 2. Okay. They have taken total friction developed, how much total friction will be, frictional resistance will be developed. Okay. So taking half the slab length LC by 2. Okay. They have considered this values wherein W is represented by the self weight of concrete and B is the width of the concrete. Okay. And slab width in meters, and L is nothing but the length of the concrete, length of the cement concrete pavement in meters, and H is the thickness. Okay. So they are divided by 100 because this is in centimeters, they are converted into meters, and F is in F is nothing but coefficient of subgrade resistance, and maximum value of F can be obtained is 1.5. That's it. Okay. And they are also considered the allowable tension in cement concrete, which is given by SC into H into B into 100. Okay. So equating this, considering L by 2, these values will come. They are nothing but they have multiplied all these values. Nothing. They have taken width of the slab, thickness of the slab, okay, and length of the slab, and unit weight of the whole slab, and what frictional resistance is occurring, they have considered that. The same thing has been given here. Self weight, width of the slab, length of the slab, and thickness of the slab. 100 I have told you divided by 100 because they have converted centimeter into meter, multiplied by what frictional resistance is developed, they have taken that, and this whole thing has been equated with the allowable tension in cement concrete. Okay. So allowable tension in cement concrete is given by SC into H into B into 100. You need not worry. This expression or the derivation is not will be not asked. So after equating both these parameters, we get LC is equal to 2SC divided by W into F multiplied by 10 raised to 4. Okay. Let us see what is what. As I told you, LC is represented by slab length or spacing between contraction joint in meters, and H is slab thickness in centimeters. Why we need to take this in centimeter and this in meter? Please don't convert again in meter here. So in this, while equating only, they have taken this consideration. So this is taken care. That's why thickness of the slab should be entered in centimeter only. Okay. And F is coefficient of friction. So as I told you, the maximum value should be taken as 1.5. If it is given some other value below this 1.5, you can take that. Okay. Or else you can go for 1.5. And W is the unit weight of concrete, taken as 2400 kg per meter cube. And AC is the allowable stress in tension in cement concrete. Okay. So this is the equation which you need to provide considering if there is no reinforcement. Okay. So suppose if there is a reinforcement which is given for the cement concrete or contraction joint, then we take area of the steel also. Okay. So we consider this also. We'll just see what change we have in this. Okay. So considering area of steel, then allowable tensile stress in the steel. So these two parameters will come other than the self weight of the concrete, the frictional coefficient, the thickness, and the slab width. Okay. So these two parameters will come. So LC for reinforcement, there are two cases. Now this case, if reinforcement is not there, then this equation is when reinforcement is provided. Okay. So AS is represented by total area of steel in centimeter square. Okay. And LC is the spacing between contraction joint. B is in a slab width in meter. H is slab thickness in centimeter. Okay. So please, students usually get confused with while substituting these values. Now we are well versed with giving all these parameters with same unit, but here while deriving these equations, they have taken care that some values will be in centimeters and some values will be in meters. Like H, I have told. Okay, in while deriving the equation, it has been taken care, and they are divided by 100. That's why we are taking directly in centimeters. Okay. So allowable tensile stress of steel is in kg per centimeter square. If not given, this is the value as 1400. Okay. We'll just look into one numerical how to solve the problem with respect to the contraction joint. I'll just yeah. Okay. So contraction joint, numerical on construction contraction joint. Determine the spacing between contraction joints for 3.5 meter slab width having thickness of 20 centimeter and frictional coefficient of 1.5 for the following two cases. Okay. Now you have two equation to find out the contraction joint length. Okay. Or interval between the contraction joint. One is if you are going for plain cement concrete, then you have something different equation. If you are reinforced cement concrete, then you need to provide different equation. Okay. So with respect to both these, they have been asked to calculate the spacing between contraction joint. So length of the contraction joint is been given. Okay. Length of the cement slab is been given. Then thickness H is given and frictional coefficient F is given. Okay. And SC values are given. Okay. Cement concrete allowable SE is given. Now SE is represented by, what is SE? SE is the, here you can see SE is the allowable stress in tension in cement concrete. Okay, so SS is allowable tensile stress in steel. Okay, so this is not given, you can take directly 1400 value. Okay, so we'll take the first case for plain cement concrete. Allowable SC is 0.8 kg per centimeter square. So taking W as nothing but a self weight of the concrete as 2400. Okay, so you equate this equation. SC is given zero point 0.8 and W into F. W is the self weight and coefficient of friction. And this is for case 1. 4.44 meter will be the interval of one contraction joint to another contraction joint. Considering case 2, if reinforced cement concrete is there, okay, then we need to first calculate the area of steel. So area of steel is taken into consideration. Okay, so first we calculate area of steel, then we go for this equation. Okay, so area of steel we have calculated, which comes to 9.16 centimeter square. Okay, then spacing between contraction joint, this equation they are taken into consideration. 200 into 1200, which is not there in the problem. Okay, so it should be 1400. They have taken it as 1200. There is a correction here uh, in the textbook itself. You can make it 1400. Okay, and 9.16, 3.5 is the width of the slab, and H is the thickness of the slab in centimeter, self weight of the concrete, and this is frictional coefficient. So this is how we need to calculate the contraction joint interval for CC pavement considering reinforcement. So this is case 2. So very simple problems are there. Only thing is you need to remember these equations for calculating the contraction joint intervals. So this is for plain cement concrete. This is for reinforced concrete. So you need not worry about how these are derived, but I have given you a brief idea how these are derived. Okay, and directly you can go for substitution, and you need to remember these values. Sometimes it will be given and sometimes it will be not given. Like unit weight of self concrete, most of the time will be using this, but it will be not given. Coefficient of friction 1.5, you can go for assumption of this also. This may be given, may not be given. Allowable tensile stress in steel also may be given, may not be given. So here I have told you this 1400, they have taken it as wrongly as 1200. Okay, so it is not given here. They have just given 1 centimeter diameter, and this is the spacing. This value is to calculate the area of steel here. I hope this is clear to you. Okay. There is one more problem in Kanna and Justo. They are asked with the maximum increase in the temperature is expected to be 26 degrees Celsius. Okay. So this 26 degrees Celsius, they are directly given T2 minus T1. Okay, so instead of giving T1 and T2, then you subtract T2 minus T1. They are directly given this maximum increase in the temperature is expected to be 26 degrees Celsius. So after the construction of a CC pavement, if expansion joint gap is 2.2 centimeter, design the spacing between expansion and contraction joints. Assume plain cement concrete construction with thermal coefficient C value is given, unit weight of the concrete is being given, allowable stress in tension during initial period of curing is being given. So, and coefficient of friction between interface is 1.4. Okay, instead of 1.5, they have given the value here. Frictional coefficient value is been given. So we'll be designing the contraction joint as well as expansion joint. Both has been asked here. Design spacing between expansion and contraction joint. So both has been asked, and you need to provide with case one. We have discussed with two cases here. So here it has been asked for with respect to case one with plain cement concrete. Contraction joint should be designed for plain cement concrete. So we'll first take up with contraction joint in CC payment with respect to plain cement concrete, and LC is given by 2 into SC divided by W into F into 10 raised to 4. So all the values have been given, they have substituted the same thing, and they have found out the contraction joint uh, uh, in CC payment. Okay. So here there is one suggestion from, or one guidelines from IRC which says that maximum spacing suggested by IRC for contraction joint in plain cement concrete, it should be 4.5. So it is exceeding 4.5, then that's why they have adopted ELC as 4.5 meters. Okay, we have got more than this, we have taken this as 4.5 meters. Okay, so this is the design of spacing providing for the contraction joint, and spacing provided for expansion joint, they have taken it with respect to the expression. Delta dash is the half of the gap. Okay, 2.2 they have given, so half of that 1.1, 100 into C is being given. Again, if this C is not given, you need to assume this value as 10 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, so that is been given, and as I told you, T2 minus T1, it has been directly given as the differential temperature which is there as 26 degrees Celsius. So they have taken it directly. So once you substitute this values, you get 42.3 meters. Okay, so provide spacing of expansion joint 9 into 4.5. Okay, so this is nothing but your contraction joint. Okay, so 40.5. So as 10 into 4.5 is 45 meters, which is higher than 42.3 meters expansion joints provided after 8 contraction joint or after ninth slab. Okay, so you need not worry about this note. Just you can just calculate. This is as per the guidelines as per IRC. Okay, so how these expansion joint and contraction joints are provided with certain contraction joints. Expansion joints are provided 10 times after the contraction joints. Okay, so you can just take these expressions and calculate the length of or interval of expansion joint and contraction joint. Okay, so this is about the design of uh, joints, spacing of joints. Okay, not exactly joints, spacing of joints. Okay, so this completes your module 5, which includes evaluation of CC payments with respect to failures in CC payments. Then we discussed on in previous class we discussed on joints, what are fillers, what are sealers, and what are the functions of these, then design of these joints. Okay, then it also includes evaluation in the form of visual inspection. You can refer the same thing what we discussed for flexible payment. Okay, so not much content is there in module 5. Please be thorough in failures, and line diagrams are must. Okay, so in the form of short notes, most oftenly these failures will be asked. So this completes your module 5. In next class or next lecture, we'll be discussing on module 4, stresses in rigid payments. So half of the module we have already discussed in payment design highway engineering. So it is not that tough. Okay. So in coming classes or lectures, we'll be discussing on module 4. If you have any thing or any questions, I hope you understood. I ran through these problems very quickly. Any doubts or questions?